Hello everyone and welcome to my Yunli guide. Yunli is going to be the new 5-star physical unit following the Path of Destruction. She will appear on the first phase of the 2.4 update, and a similarity we see in destruction units is their insane damage output, but also their survivability from their kit. In this video, I'll be giving you a guide on Yunli based off the current leaks, and these are subject to change, so I will remake the guide when we get the finalized changes and potential new leaks for her. The numbers shown here are, again, subject to change, and they all start from level 1. Before we get on with the guide, make sure to subscribe and like the video, it really helps out. Starting with her basic attack, Gale Spin Somersault, she basically just hits the enemy with her big ass sword. Her skill, Bladeborn Quake, heals herself based off her attack, plus a fixed amount that scales with levels, and deals AoE damage to the enemies. Think of this as Firefly's enhanced skill, which also gives HP when used. For her ultimate, Earthbind Ether Break, it has a 120 energy cost, and is a little bit confusing, but I'll try my best to explain. She gains an effect called Block and taunts all enemies when activating her ult. Block gives her a 60% crit damage boost and lasts for a confusing amount of time until the end of the next turn of an allied or enemy unit. I'm not too sure how long that lasts, but if you figure it out, make sure to comment it down below and help me and everybody else out. Anyway, when she gets hit while Block is active, she doesn't counter. Instead, she counters with Intuit Call, losing the block effect in the process and dealing AoE damage with 6 additional hits after the original attack to a random enemy. The additional hits count as ultimate damage. If no one hits her during block and the effect expires, she launches Intuit Slash, which deals AoE damage. Also, it says that when Intuit Slash is inflicted, the next Intuit Slash will be an Intuit Call. Again, I have no idea what I just read. Her talent, Flash Forge, gives her the counter follow-up attack every time she gets hit, dealing AoE damage in the process. Her technique, Posterior Precedence, allows her to gain the ward effect for 15 seconds, which, when she enters the battle either by being hit or hitting an enemy, a random enemy in the fight will get hit with Intuit Call once, with that specific Intuit Call doing 80% more damage. This means if the random enemy, for example, is the middle enemy in a battle of 3, she will hit the ones next to him as well, since Intuit Call is an AoE ability. Moving to her passive talents, her first talent, Fury Wheel, gives her an extra 15 flat energy every time she gets hit. So her ult cost does not look as bad as it did before. Her second talent, Demon Quell, allows her to completely avoid one crowd control debuff, and decreases the damage she receives by 20% while in block state. This just makes her survivability a lot better and a lot easier to maintain. And her third talent, True Sunder, gives Yunli a 30% attack increase for one turn after she uses counter. Having extra attack is never bad, but compared to the other two talents, this one is kind of underwhelming in my opinion. For her Eidolons, her E1 increases the damage of Intuit Slash and Intuit Call by 20%, and Intuit Call hits an extra 3 times. Her E2 gives her a free 18% crit rate when she ends her turn, and it lasts until she takes action again. Her E3 levels up her skill and basic attacks. Her E4 allows counter to ignore 20% of the enemy's defense. Her E5 is an ultimate and talent level up. And her E6, when she ults, if an enemy takes a turn right after, it will trigger Intuit Call no matter what. The block effect also will not disappear and will last until Yunli plays again. This looks like a very underwhelming E6, and compared to Acheron's E6 for example, or Firefly's or Jingliu's or whoever, this is an incredibly underwhelming E6 in my opinion. Now let's take a look at her light cone, Dance at Sunset. It increases her chances of getting attacked and increases her crit damage by 36%. When she uses ult, she will gain a stack of Fire Dance that stacks twice and lasts 2 turns. Fire Dance gives 36% damage and follow-up attack bonus to Yunli. From the looks of things, this masochist child that also is probably gonna get with Yang Qing wants to be built like a crit DPS that can also follow-up attack. For her best light cones, her signature is obviously number 1, with Clara light cone being second and Blade being in third place. For free-to-play options, Fall of an Aeon is the only one I could find that could benefit you a little bit, and the Peppy light cone is also an alternative if you're using Fall of an Aeon on someone else. For her trace priority, you want to go with talent first, ultimate second, and skill last. You can skip her basic attacks, you won't be using them. I will not be showcasing teams, but I will showcase the units that could potentially work really good with her. Robin is going to be a great pick because of her follow-up attack buffs and her overall damage increase to the entire team. And since Ruan Mei's buffs are similar to Robin's in the case of damage dealing, then Ruan Mei and Robin are pretty similar, but Robin is way better since she buffs follow-up attacks. Any debuffer is also good, like Pela or Silverwolf for example, because of the defense shred. You can also use Ting Yun, she's also very good for the energy regen and the overall good damage you gain from her. And alongside Ting Yun's recommendation, I would also recommend Hanya as a good support, since she is kind of okay, she gives a little bit of damage, she enables more damage to the enemy, so she's okay. I would recommend you skip Sparkle and Bronya on your Yunli teams because you do not like the advance forward. Topaz can kind of work with her, enabling her to use Numbi more often, and Clara is very good in a dual DPS comp with Yunli, and potentially a preservation unit like Japard or Aventurine, where you basically put Aventurine in the middle, you put Clara on the left for example, and you put Yunli on the right. So you have all 3 units that have increased chances to get attacked, all close together, so you will be getting more follow-up attacks from all of them. For sustainers, you can use Aventurine as the most broken sustain I've ever seen. For sustainers other than Aventurine, Locha and Gallagher are very good since they set up a field on the enemies that makes all of your allies heal every time they attack someone. For Relics, the Grand Duke is very good as a 2-piece and as a 4-piece if you get a lot of attacks on your Yunli. Genius of Brilliant Stars is also very good, but is a bit situational. Champion of Streetwise Boxing is very good, especially if you farmed it for Clara or Argenti. But you don't necessarily need a full set. You can basically go 2-piece attack on both, or 2-piece attack, 2-piece physical, and you will be completely fine. Or you can go 2-piece Ashfang, 2-piece attack. That's also very good. You can go 2-piece damage reduction, 2-piece attack. And again, attack on both 2 pieces is also very good. And for your balls and ropes, you want Inner Salsoto, Izumo if you are planning on playing Double Destruction, and the new Duran set that just dropped is also very good on her. I think I would recommend attack percent on both the rope and the ball, and I haven't seen, so I have no info on what material she will use, and to be honest, it is too early to even assume, but it's probably going to be some new material that will be released in the 2.4 patch update, since we are getting a new region on the Luofu. For her best Eidolons, you want her E1, E4, E6, and E5 could be decent for the talent level up. I'm not particularly hyped about her release as I am for Jiao Chu, because he looks much more interesting, and honestly the only thing she has going for her is that she's cute. But I still wanted to make a guide on her since she kinda looked like Clara, and I don't even have Clara yet. I'll definitely be releasing a guide on Jiao Chu for pre-release and for full release when he drops as well. That's gonna do it for my Yunli guide. I hope you enjoyed. Please like and subscribe, it helps out, and I'll see you on the next guide. See ya!